Hi, and welcome to another episode of Remember This.
Yeah.
I'm Denise Boland with my co-host, Caleb T. Johnson. Hey, Caleb.
How you doing? How you doing, Denise?
Everything's good. Everything's good. What's going on? Anything new? Coming out with anything new lately?
Yes, I'm glad you said that. Last week, I released my newest single called You Give Me Joy, and it's a house dance song. And it's doing very well on YouTube.
Yes, it is. I heard it. It's awesome and so inspiring.
Thank you. Yeah.
I love it. What was the inspiration behind it?
God. God was the inspiration. I was just thanking him because, you know what, during this pandemic, so much is going on, and I'm just thanking him that he took me out of all that stuff. Look at us. We're still here.
We are. We're still here. That's right. And we're
still
going
here.
strong.
God, yeah, so he's giving me joy. He's giving me everything. So, listen.
Well, that song has to go viral. That's awesome.
I pray that it does.
How can people find it, Caleb?
You can go to youtube.com/ridewith9, or you can type in my name, Caleb T. Johnson, which I got it on the right here.
Love it. Awesome. Okay. Well, that's exciting news. And and so you've been keeping busy and you've been producing things and the show has been doing really good. We've been having some really exciting interviews. We've been having roundtables. If you guys haven't seen any of them, check them out on our channel. Right? Really good stuff. Yep.
Excellent
good information.
stuff. Excellent stuff. Woo!
With Charlie Ward, David Nino Rodriguez, King Charlie Prince.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. Excellent interview.
We'll be having more. Yeah, and we add more people all the time. We had Crystal Tini. We had Thomas from True Reporting.
Yes.
And the roundtables are just really, really good. People get a lot out of them. And we do too, because we're learning as we're discussing things, right? We're learning from one another.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So tonight, can't wait for the next one, right?
Yeah, I can't wait to the next one. And I can't wait till one day we can all get together so we don't have to do this square box thing anymore.
No. Let's see if we can high five each other. Let's see. How would we do it? Do we go this way? This way?
No,
this way.
Let's see. This way.
Ready?
I don't know. Ready?
I don't know. Try that way or that way or that way. I don't know. Well, you get it.
Yeah.
It's all good. Well, tonight we have a really exciting guest. We have an actress, writer, and director, Deborah Twiss. So she's going to come on. She's going to tell us all about her exciting career and what projects she's working on now during the pandemic. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Deborah Twiss to the show. And there she is.
Hi.
Hi, Deborah. How are you?
I'm good. Uh-oh, wait, what happened? Oh, there you are.
You look great. You're so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Co-host Caleb. Yep, that's Caleb.
How are you?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Awesome.
Thank you for joining us. I saw your post that you were working on this new movie, and it got my interest. I said, right?
Which one?
Oh, wow. Look at that. Yeah, and that's another thing. I'm on her IMDb, and I'm like, wow.
That's awesome.
Oh,
yeah, I've found a way to make myself busy during this pandemia.
Yeah, it's funny. We were just talking about that because Caleb just came out with a single.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is so fabulous.
Yeah.
Wait, it's a good thing because like all the distractions were taken away from us, so we could really focus on our craft, right?
1 second. I have like 9 chihuahuas and they're doing something. I'm in my bedroom.
No, it's okay. I had a dog issue too. In fact, Frankie took the 3 Pomeranians into the screen house. Oh, that's funny.
They are so crazy.
That cracks me up. No, Deborah, that cracks me up because I didn't know what to do with my dogs. I have 2 big dogs and then 3 Pomeranians, and just as I started inviting you guys, they started barking. The little ones started barking. I'm like, ah.
It's crazy, right? And I actually handed my daughter, I adopted this palm tree by accident, always by accident, in late February. And he's the cutest thing. But he's a baby and he doesn't know how to behave when mommy's doing interviews. So I asked my daughter to babysit her brother. Luckily, she's very into babysitting him, so I'm lucky.
How cute.
Yeah.
Well, if he comes nearby, pick him up. We'd like to see him.
I got this guy.
Oh, wow.
This is my Cody Sunshine.
Oh, how beautiful.
Yeah, he's a precious guy. And He got my blind Maine Coon standing on a cat tree next to me, ready to jump on the computer so he may enter frame. He can't see where the computer screen is, so he doesn't get it, but he gets so excited when there's a Zoom because he senses other beings. He's so cool. Blind cats are like the coolest thing that ever roamed the planet. I swear. This guy is so cool. He's zen.
Blind? Or he got blind from like old age, or?
No, there was this post on Facebook. Always Facebook. I got to stay off Facebook if I want to keep my house free. Yeah, it really is. But there was this post about this kitten, and I had just lost my border collie to lymphoma, and this was back in 2016. And there was a post about a little kitten whose eyes were so infected, and he was this fluffy thing that they had to shave down. He was matted. His eyes were all gooped up. And I said, I'll take him. I'll foster him. I need because I've cared for my border collie for 8 weeks of trying all these different holistic medications. And then when he was gone, I wanted to spread the love. So I agreed to take in this kitten, and I did the ointment and the drops and the ointment and the drops and cleaning his eyes. And I bonded with him so much. And I kept feeling like he could see. And then when they took him when he was 8 weeks old to be neutered, the doctor looked at his eyes and he said, it doesn't matter how much Deb has done with the antibiotic ointment, his eyes are so infected, it's going to give him a brain infection, he's going to die. So they had to enucleate him, double enucleation, when he was only 8 weeks old. And then they texted me that they were doing that, and they said, and so if you would rather have him go to a different foster home after, and I said, no, now I want to adopt him. He's like, I'm the only mommy he knows.
Yeah, he needs you now more than ever.
Right? So yeah, he's my, I love this guy so much. And if you met him, you would never know he was blind. It's the wildest thing. He'll come right up to you and put his face like right up and just like go like this, and it's as if he's doing a mind block.
So now our audience has to see him. Can we put him on screen?
Sure, I'll go get him. Wait.
Okay. I know I want to see him. I'm sure everybody else does. Right?
She did an excellent job and talking about him.
When I was a kid, we knew of a cat that was blind. He used to walk into the walls. Poor thing.
Here he is.
Oh, he's beautiful. Is he Persian? Part Persian?
He's a Maine Coon. He's a big old yummy Maine Coon. I love my cat's giant and my doggy's tiny.
Yeah, that's good.
Look at you. Yeah. Look how beautiful you are, Jamie. Oh, Jamie.
How old is he?
Wow.
He's 4. And
wow, this should be the interview. Let's just meet all your pets.
I know. Oh, that's fine with me. I don't care. Forget the film stuff.
I love that. Now, so your kids always grew up with animals in the house?
Oh yeah. I think prior to being with having children, I lived in an apartment in Brooklyn, and I was rescuing cats from my backyard. So I had 4, and I thought that was too many. It was in Williamsburg.
I'm from Brooklyn. That's why I asked.
Ah, okay. And but then I got married and had kids, and for the first 16 months or so of their lives, we didn't have a pet. And we had Baby Cat. Baby Cat is a cat that I rescued in May of 2001, and she's still alive. Yeah. That's really cool. She acts
Ah,
like a kitten still, except for the typical older cat thing with cloudy eyes or whatever, but she's completely 100%. But my kids, like, I guess it was, yeah, my daughter was about 12 or 13 months old. She's the youngest when I adopted this little kitten from this woman on the street in Brooklyn. And that was our first cat as a family, Ofu. And then we adopted a dog from Bark Shelter. And yeah, then it went on from there.
growing and growing. People thought I was crazy because I had 5 dogs, but you know, with the two big ones, we have a golden retriever and a golden doodle, and they're just so sweet. They're so sweet. And then I started with one little Pomeranian because my youngest daughter kept saying, I want a dog that I can hold. I want a dog that'll sit on my lap. So we got a little Pomeranian, and she's so sweet. And then all of a sudden I said, like maybe 8 months later, let's go back and get her another one to play with, you know? So we went back and got another one, and now we have the 2 of them. And then a few months later, I was like, you know, let's just get one more. So we got the 3 of them, and they're so cute. When you call them, they come running in a little ball. You know,
Yeah, they're a pack.
And I say they're like potato chips. You can't just have one.
I agree. It's the little ones, especially because they're so easy, and even they're just so easy and wonderful. I wake up and I have 8 dogs on my bed, and then
I don't feel so bad.
yeah, you're good. You're not at my level yet.
You have how many dogs?
I have 10 altogether, but 8 that sleep in my bed. And
Now I can say, don't worry, Deborah has 9, so 5's not bad.
Yeah.
Now I can say that, right?
Totally, yeah. I'm out with this. But it's just the most amazing thing, and they really are. I had so many shitty experiences. Wait, can I say that? Yeah,
That's fine.
Oh, okay. I had shitty experiences in the film world with some people that were just such psychotic. My dogs are the most pure, amazing souls, and they are what keep me grounded and realizing, okay, no matter what happens during the day or with phone calls or emails or whatever, I always have my guys and my pack of babies that I love infinitely. And they love me infinitely back. And it's as pure can be. And if I could have everyone in my life be like with me and I with them as I am with my dogs, it would be a really great life. And I have some good people like that. We have like dog relationships, which is good.
That's like the best way to put it, you know, as far as
it's weird, but it's very bizarre.
Unconditionally, right? But you know, they don't hold grudges. They just love us unconditionally, you know.
And I've found people that are like that, and I am that way with them, and so I know that it's possible. I think we're backing into this interview. Do you know what I mean?
Just let it flow.
Yeah.
Let it flow.
Yeah.
But well, I don't know if you know, but I was an extra probably in 5 different scenes in Bare Knuckle Brawler. That's how I met you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's how
crazy.
I know you.
I probably look different because I wore wigs and I had to look like different people all the time. Let me tell you, you were amazing in that role.
Oh, thank you.
She acted opposite Martin Cove, and Pete Pissarro, and Danny Trejo was in the movie. William DeMeo. Great movie, right? That was a lot of fun for you.
Yeah, that was so fun. I like the action parts when it was really intense. That's my favorite thing. I love that. And it's so funny. I have not gotten much of a chance to do that outside of the things I create.
Let's talk about that. Okay, so I guess everybody asked you, like, how did you start? Like, if you want to go back to the beginning, I know you were born in Philly, right? And then you moved to New York. What, when you were a teenager, or?
Oh, we moved all over the United States when I was growing up, and then I got my acceptance to NYU. My mom taught me a lot. My mom was really young when she had me. She was 17. My dad was 19, and they're still together, which is a miracle. Good or bad, whatever. Not my place to judge. But they are together, and so when I was really little, my mom was really excited to have me, and wanted to teach me everything she could. So she taught me a lot of reading and writing and all this other stuff before I even got to school. So I skipped kindergarten. And because I'm also a December baby, I graduated from high school when I was 17. And when I got my acceptance to NYU when I was 16. And so I moved to New York we were living in Pittsburgh at the time, but don't hold that against me. I'm not from there. I am not from there. I am East Coast. I am like, I need to be near an ocean. I'm not into the inland places. I don't know what it is. I really have this belief that the more inland you go, if you were born along the coast, your body needs to be within 100 miles of salt water. And if you deviate from that, it messes you up. We lived in Alabama and Minnesota, and they were the two most horrific places I've ever been in my life.
Wow.
They were awful. They were awful.
Heat, right? Alabama had to be hot.
It was not just hot. It was completely backward. They were stuck in, I don't even know what. I don't know if it was like the 1860s or the 1940s or what, but they didn't know. And I was coming when we got to Alabama, I was coming from Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, which was completely online, progressive. No, I mean, basically the world we live in now, well, prior to COVID, I don't know what this world is right now. Anyway, but when we got to Alabama, it was insane. I regularly, I would just find myself in tears as a child, seeing the way people were treated. It was disgusting.
How would you, like, when you made friends, like, did you have anything in common with these kids, or not really?
Well, my mom and dad put me in this little Catholic school. Only time I ever went to a Catholic school was in Alabama, because they heard the public schools were so bad, of course. And so I bonded enough. I was good at bonding because we moved so much. It was what I did. What I do naturally at this point. I can suss out the people that I can connect with and quickly connect with them, and everyone else I dissolve in my brain if I don't feel a connection. So I've always been very lucky in that respect until I got older, and then there's people that prey on someone who can trust based on a false premise. But back in, hey,
Saying it.
I
Yeah.
have my anti-bark thing.
Oh, that's so funny. Does it work?
Most of the time.
I'll try it.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, there were a couple of people that I bonded with a lot. And oddly enough, they couldn't find a decent math teacher in this Catholic school. So they hired this Jewish woman, and she became one of my best friends. And she even came to my birthday party and everything. And of course, the kid from Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, the Jewish math teacher at her birthday party from a Catholic school in Alabama.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, okay, that's cool. I get it. I know who I am. So, yeah. And then Minnesota was just so weird and creepy. And I just couldn't acclimate ever. It was a different brain. I don't know. I don't know.
Everything that's going on in Minnesota, it's probably not even the way it was when you were there. It's probably so different.
Maybe, I don't know. We lived in some weird suburb that all the houses were ugly and square, and there was any time it didn't rain for 2 days in the summer, all of a sudden all the grass would turn brown, and every few weeks there was a tornado siren. It was weird. It was freaking crazy.
I'm born and raised in New York, well, Brooklyn specifically. Now I'm in Staten Island, but I can't picture living anywhere else. And not to say I would never go anywhere else, but like, you know, we have a place in Pennsylvania and I go there, but I can't be there for too long because I feel like I just got to get back to New York. You know, I get like
panic,
bored.
right?
Yeah, I feel like I'm missing out on something.
We had a palace in Pennsylvania for a while, and when we would go there for a while, I would feel this almost panic set into me. It was too quiet. It was too dark. Anything could happen. That is a place that I was scared of. When New York City, I get out, I'm just walking like, okay, I know this place. I know these are my people. I feel good.
Mhm.
Even when we first moved to New Jersey, because I live now 12 miles outside of the city in New Jersey, it took me a solid 2 years to feel comfortable going out at night because it's so dark and nobody's out. What do these people do that nobody's outside?
Yeah.
And honestly, to be completely honest, I don't think I ever fully acclimated. I can tell. People even have told me in this town, oh, we know that you don't really give a crap what other moms think of you. Oh, really? That's not supposed to be a compliment, but it is. Thank you.
You'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's you, and don't change for anybody. And yeah,
That's right.
that's right. And you're very, very creative. And so did you start out acting or did you start out writing?
I always have done both. Since the first time I acted and wrote, I was 6 years old in first grade. And I wrote the scene that my puppet did. And then the next time was in third grade. And the guy that was head of the drama club in that school proposed an idea to everyone and said, if anybody would like to write a script for the spring ensemble performance, please go ahead. And I got really excited. So I asked my dad to let me use the typewriter, and I wrote a script, and it was a feature, a full-length play. And it was about time travel. And I gave it to the guy that was directing the whole show. And I said, this is my thing. If you would like it, let me know. And the next day he got in touch with me at school. He called me out of my classroom and he told me, I really love this. I think it's so amazing. We would like to use this as the main project in the spring ensemble performance. And it was probably about a 45-minute length play. And I told him he'd be more than welcome to take it, but I had to play the lead.
Good for you.
So I was writing directly.
No, that's what Chaz Palminteri
right
said
at the
about
gate.
Bronx Tale. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Said you can have the screenplay, but I have to play Sonny.
And same with Rocky. And I didn't even hear those stories at that point. I was
In third grade.
Yeah, but I knew what I wanted and I just went for it. And my mom, luckily, because she was so young and so hip and she's gorgeous. She always reminded me of Paulina Portskova, but with really bright blonde hair and aqua eyes. And but she no, don't bark, no, hey. But she always told me, think like a man and you'll always get ahead. From the time I was 3. And I think that I've actually realized recently how much that has become part of me. That is like maybe a little detrimental, but I'm coming to terms with that within the pandemic. But the funny thing is that is what really made me stand my ground when this guy wanted to have my show, my script be the centerpiece of the spring ensemble performance. And I knew I had written that role for myself, even though it was an ensemble within the cast, but I knew which role I wanted. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, it's always been both things.
That's like amazing that you could even come up with something that they'll actually incorporate into a play in school at that age.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
I'm a weirdo. It's fine.
I think that's great. I can't imagine writing a play now. Can you imagine back then? So that's great.
When I was 3 years old, I knew what I wanted to do. I was standing in front of the TV and blocking the view from my parents, and they told me to move, and I was so enthralled with what was going on inside. And I turned to them and I said, when I grow up, I'm going to go inside there and play with them. And my mom said, it doesn't work that way, honey. You have to become an actor. And I was like, okay, I want to be an actor.
When I was young, I used to say, when I get older, I want to move to California and live with the Brady Bunch. I said, I want to be an actress too. I want to live with the Brady Bunch. I was like maybe 5 at the time. But I think that's great that you had these goals and these dreams and ambitions and you're fulfilling them. I mean, not a lot of people can say that.
Well, I'm fulfilling them to a point. I'm not A-list by any stretch of the imagination. But thanks to me too, I realized why.
That's why that's okay.
it was my thinking like a man that got me from the goodies, which actually saved me in the long run from a lot of therapy.
That's fair. That's right.
But it's so funny when the whole Me Too thing came out. Guys.
Okay. That's okay.
Shh, shh, shh. Everybody relax. When the whole Me Too thing came out, I heard all these stories about these people going to Harvey Weinstein's hotel room, and I met Harvey Weinstein. And he shows up in a bath towel or a bathrobe or whatever, and that had happened to me too with different people that were going to invest in my movies. And instead of me sitting there saying, "Oh, well, I guess I have to get in bed with him so I can get a role," I would look at him and be like, "Dude, no, we're supposed to go to dinner. I'll meet you downstairs. Put clothes on." Like, go downstairs. And I didn't think twice about it. I just really never thought twice about it because I'd been raised by my mom as being such a strong woman. And then the Me Too thing comes out, and I thought, damn, I could have been triple A-list if I'd taken up half these offers. What was I supposed to do? That's what I was supposed to do when the guy showed up in a towel? I'm so stupid, but I feel good. I sleep well at night with my doggies.
Good for you. Good for you. You know, Goldie Hawn told us, she was interviewed, and Al Cap, he invited her. He said he was going to put her like in a movie. This was a young Goldie Hawn. This was before Laughing Goldie Hawn. So he invited her to his hotel room to talk about this movie he wanted to put her in. And she sat down and he says, "I'll be right back." And he came out with the bathrobe and the whole 9 yards and tried to make a move, and she left. And he said to Goldie Hawn, "You will never make it in this business." Okay? She resisted, and you have to stand your ground.
I've heard stories from other strong women that were A-list that then became not A-list, who were willing to go up against that whole system. And then they were actually made to look like they were fools and shamed and all this other crap. I'm not going to say names because I don't think it's fair.
It's so ridiculous.
But it's completely ridiculous and so infuriating. But yeah, so I guess I probably could have gotten a lot further, a lot faster, but I like who I am and I love my doggies and my kids. So that's what counts in the end, right? And I'm not in therapy.
That's right. So you're already ahead of the game.
Yeah. And I don't have to, there was even this thing recently. You guys would love this. Shocking. So there was this thing, like one of those pay to play. You may have heard this story. It's been out there in the Facebook world. There was this pay to play place in New York City, and they were promoting this one guy who did sacral creative therapy. Right? You know what the sacral chakra is all about, right? Creativity and sexuality. Okay. All right. So we've set the base for this story. And so, I was at this place in my career where things were kind of slowing down, and I thought, okay, maybe a cool meditation that opens up the creativity be a good thing. So I booked a session with this guy, and it was a 1-hour session, really good meditation about opening to creativity and more. And I always felt like I was creative, but this took it to a different level. And I thought, this is great. Did another one, also amazing. The third one, huh?
Is it the same person?
Yeah. And then, so I went back for a third one. Big mistake. I get done. I get there. It's only a 10-minute meditation. That's kind of crappy. And he looks at me and he says, "Deborah, I think you're ready for the monologues." And I'm like, what monologues? What are you talking about? I studied acting. I don't need acting training. I'm here to open up my sacral chakra. So he brings out this tattered folder that's filled with these monologues that have this huge print. The print must be the freaking inch. And he gives me the instruction to look through it and just base it on the titles. Don't look at any of the words. Just base it on the titles, what I choose. So I choose this one called The Therapist. I think that must be cool and interesting. And I start reading it. And and he says to me, when you look down, get the words and speak it into my eyes. So I look down and I look at it and I think to myself, there's no way in freaking hell I can say this, but I'm going to do it, whatever. And I look down and it says, every time I've had this session with you, all I can think about is your giant in my hot And I'm like, oh.
How blatant is that?
And I just thought,
oh
okay.
my God.
So I stopped and I said, I don't like this one. Let's go to a different one. So we go to another one. That's the supermarket. And it's about every time I look at the eggplant, I think about your and I threw up my hands and I said to him, what is this? And who wrote this? This is shit. It's awful. It's so bad. I'm done. I have no interest in this. And I found out later he wrote those. Of course. And then fast forward to 3 years later, and he is being brought up in charges because he also had a box of sex toys that he would bring out. I guess this is when you're done with the monologue work.
Yeah, you didn't get up to that level.
No, I didn't. Thank God.
God.
And then beyond that, there were a couple of women that actually had sex with him. And I thought, this is really freaking crazy. And why? As soon as I read those monologues, I was out of there. I hightailed it. I cut it short. I didn't even have to pay for the whole session. Now, why did anyone think they had to stick around? This isn't a guy that had the power to give anybody work. I don't think he even had the power ever to suggest to somebody else to book anybody work. So I really wish that there was some sort of, and I've talked to people about this. He said, I would love to do some sort of lecture series on how to make women feel empowered to know what their worth is and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. They don't know their worth. And that's probably why they, predators, will take advantage of them because they don't know how to say no. They get intimidated. Maybe they come from a background of abuse. Maybe it's happened to them when they were younger. And
maybe, but yeah, something's really wrong. And I think that there's almost this underlying thing. I know all of us have been doing this during this pandemic. We've got this extra time on our hands, so we ponder different concepts. This is one of the things I've been pondering. Like, I honestly don't, in all my imagination, I cannot fathom, even if somebody was abused, why they would allow that. Because if you were abused, you would then say, no, I'm a grown-up. I wish so much there was better training for children.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
Absolutely. I was watching some of the interviews with the victims of Jeffrey
Epstein.
Epstein, yes. I'm thinking Weinstein, Epstein. The same.
They are.
And just like you said, they had different reactions when, he asked them, can you please remove your top? Can you please remove your bottom? Some of them went up into a certain point and then said, no, I'm out of here. Some of them got scared and just let him do it because they were so scared. So it's like, yeah, each girl handled it in a different way, And the ones that got away and he knew that he couldn't go any further with them, he made them recruiters. They were no longer a recruit. Now they would go out and bring girls to him.
Wow.
What a twisted piece of shit. I'm sorry. But that's just like...
No, don't be sorry. Yes.
What a dick.
Horrible what these poor girls went through. And they're still suffering today. They're
adults. Of course they are.
They went on with their lives. No, that pain is going to carry through with them, unfortunately.
That is just so unforgivable. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with his girlfriend thing, pimp, person, whatever.
He already pleaded not guilty, so.
Yeah.
That's such a joke. Yeah. I mean, all these girls said she's the one that recruited them. They said, actually, if it wasn't for her, there'd be no Jeffrey Epstein. That it was really all her doing. Yeah.
That is twisted
So
crap.
think about that. Yeah, he was Bush League. She's Major League.
That is really, that's like the ultimate evil, actually.
So I hope, these girls will have some kind of closure when, justice is served with her.
Hopefully she doesn't commit suicide.
Yeah.
I know everybody's saying that, but
They need to make her sign something. I promise not to kill myself.
What were you going to say, Caleb?
No, I was saying I hope not. Because that certainly is not a way out. Kill yourself? No.
Well,
no.
Yeah.
Well, that's debatable, Caleb, if he actually killed himself.
Yeah.
So, and if she kills herself, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But she's singing like a bird. They said she's like giving up names and telling a lot of stuff, and yeah, lot.
Hopefully the people that are taking the names down don't kill themselves.
Right. I don't know if you guys heard about Wayfair. You had to. It's like all over social media. Have you heard about it?
It's got some connection to Epstein?
Not directly, but what they're saying, isn't it strange how nobody knew about this, but once they took her in and started questioning her, now all of a sudden this is out. So they don't know if maybe she said something about it and it leaked out, and then who knows. But Caleb, if you haven't heard, Wayfair is being accused of child trafficking through their site. Like, they're showing items that are like maybe worth a couple of $100 going for thousands of dollars, and they're named after missing children. Yeah, it's insane. And
I didn't hear this whole thing. I've been busy the last couple of days, thank God.
Yeah,
the news just freaks me out to the point where I just want to base everything on who I know, the people in my life. Going into New York City.
There you go.
Yeah, I feel like my own eyes and heart say much more than, but this kind of stuff that I haven't heard of, that's insane.
Yeah, no, it's insane. And pillows going for like thousands of dollars for one little pillow. And in Wayfair, every item has a SKU. And if you type in the SKU number and you go to some browser, it's like all pictures of young girls. Like, it's just, they're saying this is how they're traffic. Okay, so when they kidnap these girls, this is how they're selling them through these websites, is what they're saying. It hasn't been confirmed, but if you look at these items, I mean, a storage cabinet going for like, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars does not make sense. Or a mat on the floor, a mat going for like $20,000. Who's going to pay $20,000 for a welcome mat? Things like that.
Well, and because Wayfair is supposed to be about discount items.
Exactly.
Which makes it even scarier. What if that is the discount price for humans?
Exactly. Yeah. So they're under investigation, and the CEO stepped down. So,
well, Bill Gates stepped down before the COVID thing, so whatever. All the CEOs are stepping down. There's bigger stuff going on than I think we are allowed to see or know yet. And I just really do pray that it will all come out at some point. I really do. Because everything you see, everything that I see in the news, I think to myself, that's not the reality I know in any way. Everyone that I know so many different kinds of people, and we all just love each other and get along, and it's great, and we have fun. And I feel like there's an orchestrated division happening, and I don't know. I feel lost.
No, don't feel lost, because a lot of stuff is going on in front of us, but then there's a lot of good stuff going on behind the scenes. Caleb and I, we do a roundtable, and we have people. Yeah, we have someone from the UK. His name is Charlie Ward. He is amazing. You got to check out the roundtables. He has intel, like he has connections with the White House, and he gives us tidbits of what's going on, like behind the scenes, and it's all exciting stuff.
A lot of tidbits.
Deb, you gotta like start looking into it. It's all exciting stuff. And
Yeah.
basically, I'll tell you basically in a nutshell, while this whole COVID thing is going on, it's like, you know, the left they have their agenda, and their agenda basically is they want government control over us. Okay. But while all this is going on, behind the scenes, they're saying Trump, who's backed by 8,000, he has an alliance. You know, every president really is a puppet. They don't really make all the decisions.
No, they wouldn't be allowed to be there otherwise.
Exactly. So what he's doing in the background, is he's unsealing all these arrests, and they're bringing down the corrupt elite in Hollywood, people involved in Hollywood that are into the human trafficking, the drug cartels, anyone in politics who's accused of any kind of treason or anything. But this is all going on behind the scenes, and it's all going to come out. We're all going to see it eventually. But yeah, he's going to bring us back to the original Constitution. That's another thing that we're learning. In 1871, they came out with a different Constitution, and that's how we ended up paying taxes. And right, and you have to pay for licenses. And when we're born, they put our name all in caps to make us a corporation so they can tax us. We were never supposed to be taxed. Do you know that? The Federal Reserve was put into place illegally. We were never supposed to be paying income tax.
I know the thing about the Federal Reserve and the fact that, like, actually wasn't the Federal Reserve cracked recently? Didn't that happen? And that's I know a little bit about what you're talking about.
There's so much. I don't know if did you get a stimulus check? Because this is one of the things that people had mentioned. If you got a physical stimulus check, because some people that got a check got it direct deposit, but Trump signed it, and the left was like, "Why is he signing my check?" Whatever. But it didn't say the Federal Reserve. For the first time, a government check was issued that said the United States Treasury.
Wow, that's cool. I did not.
Reserve.
We are 3 years behind on dealing with taxes. We keep doing extensions. So I know.
Hang on, you might not have to pay them. Hang on.
Yeah. Woo!
The IRS is going to come after me. No, I'm not giving bad advice.
How long do I have to wait? Where do I have to hide until they get done?
Today's actually the deadline, isn't it? Deadline used to be my birthday. I'm a tax baby, but not this year. So my birthday is April 15th.
Nice.
This year it was July 15th.
Yeah, today is the deadline.
Yeah, but I'm sure you can get an extension, Deb.
Yeah, okay. Nothing matters anymor right now.
Until they get rid of it. Yeah.
All you have to do is call somebody and say, "Oh, COVID." And they like delay. It's all fine. That's right. COVID. I have no COVID work.
There's a stuntman in Hollywood. His name is Mike Smith, and he was the double for Val Kilmer in Batman Forever.
I feel like somebody told me about him recently.
Yeah, he came out with a documentary called Out of Shadows.
I saw. That's why I know him. I watched the whole thing.
What did you think?
Yeah.
Eye opener.
I had already been on that. I had a company with this guy that I was with in the 90s, and our company was called Conspiracy Films. So, and I am addicted to watching Ancient Aliens. So, you get me. I get you. I get Mike Smith. Yeah.
Mike Smith is great.
Really great. And the thing that was the clincher for me was that chick who was the journalist that really went underground and, like, you know, Pizzagate and all the other stuff. I'm trying to get her on the show. Yeah, my friend David is interviewing her Friday night on Instagram. Really?
I'll find the link. I'll send it to you.
Please do. I'm really fascinated. You know, I'm always scared, though, that I'm just so afraid that any of us that are open-minded, and I mean, this is like the worst thing you can be right now, open-minded. Honestly, it doesn't matter what side you're on. If you're open-minded, you're screwed. And it just scares me that they're going to do something bigger to make us shut up and just abandon our theories. I hope that's not true. But it's just a fear based on everything else that has come so far. You know what I mean?
When we speak to Charlie Ward, you know, we kind of talk about things like that. And, you know, because like even we, you know, we're friends with David Nino Rodriguez, and he came out, he was a heavyweight champion boxer, and he's retired now, but he saw Out of Shadows. And after he saw it, he took to Facebook Live. He said, I just felt compelled. And he's very close with some A-list people in Hollywood. And so he came out with this video on Facebook talking about the children and the child trafficking and the people in Hollywood and what they're doing to these children. But he didn't name any names, you know. And, you know, when we talked about this at the roundtable, Charlie Ward said, listen, you know, Trump is in complete control now. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't seem like that. He's allowing the left just to go as far as they can go. But he's in complete control, you know? So, and everybody's talking about it. This is actually called the Great Awakening, because everybody's waking up to the truth, you know? So
I've
this
been
is
calling
the
it
time.
that myself. Yeah,
Really?
I agree. Yeah, because I know from in my own personal life, we've been given this giant pause. And this pause has allowed certain things to come to light that we didn't have the bandwidth to perceive because we were in such the hamster wheel. The hamster wheel stopped. And now we're like the hamsters, and we're realizing that we're in a cage. And that's the awakening. Realizing that we are in the cage is the first part of the awakening. Now we got to figure out how to get out of it.
We're leaving that to, our president, and that's what they're working on. They're working on relieving us from this slavery, because it is slavery if you think about it.
It is.
Under this control.
Absolutely. The fact that most human beings, it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, like the ridiculous 30 to 40% tax rate begin at 40 grand. You can't live on that anywhere. And can you imagine trying to live on that in New York City?
Exactly.
Trying to live, we had to move to New Jersey, and I was working. The kid's dad was working. Everyone, we couldn't make it. We couldn't.
I think that's all part of their plan also, to break up the family. You have both parents working. Am I right?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, right. And it's all about making sure. And when I lived in Brooklyn, they were trying to get me to put my 3-year-olds into pre-K. 8 to 3 pre-K with then extended daycare. And
they want to raise the children, basically. They want to indoctrinate the children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons too. We were living in Cobble Hill, Brooklyn, and originally it had been a very artistic kind of area, and a lot of Italian people and cool people that just worked hard. And while we were living there from 2003 to 2008, it became so much all about people that worked on Wall Street, just Wall Street. Not even people that worked in ad agencies were able to afford it. And it was so absurd and ridiculous. And even in the school, it was all about how artists were just hobos, and outsiders. There was a video that I watched that was recorded in my daughter's kindergarten class. This is when I knew we needed to move out of there. And this girl and her family, they knew that I'd been an actress and I'd been in a lot of things, especially at that time, that people in the school, the elementary school, knew about. And the little girl looked at the camera and she said, when I grow up, the one thing I don't want to be is an actor, because then I'll be a hobo and I'll be homeless.
They were indoctrinating the kids. Look
yes. At that. And I just thought, okay, I don't care where we go. I just got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. And Manhattan was not an option because the children had to go to school. So we ended up in Jersey, which is fine. It's good. But it's got its own issues. The fact that I can't acclimate to this environment. I'm not like the suburban mom. I'll never be a suburban mom in a million years. Thank God. And so anyway, whatever. It's all good.
I like where I am because I'm still in the city, but it's a little like Jersey, but not quite.
Staten Island?
Yeah, Staten Island's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
So we're still part of the city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still have the excitement of the city and stuff. But yeah.
Well, I'm right next to Montclair. Montclair has tons of people and shops and all these things that have come from the city, and it's really cool. There's a lot that's really, really cool about it. The problem is I love my little town. I live in Glen Ridge. It's this very tiny little sliver.
I've heard of Glen Ridge.
Between Bloomfield and Montclair. Montclair is very much more artistic. Glen Ridge is the place where everybody's a stockbroker or a lawyer or whatever, and good people, but there's not a real understanding for what we do. There just isn't. And I in some ways, I kind of wish that we had gone to Montclair. But when we were moving in 2012, oh, sorry, I was just had a text come in.
That's okay. Sounded like dinner was ready.
Yeah. Dinner is ready when a text comes in. And when we moved in 2012, it was such a hard time. Everybody, there were so many houses that would just get taken right away. And we had offers on places in Montclair, and we tried to get places here and there. And then finally, the house that we ended up with was a house that nobody else wanted. And I felt so sad for it. Look at me.
Like the pets.
Yeah. Right? So I took on
the house, like the pets.
I take on the unwanted dogs. I fostered a kid at the beginning of the pandemic. That was scary.
For a short time.
5 weeks.
Yeah. Wow. So, there she is with her wine. We should be having wine with you.
My chalice. Look. I have a chalice.
I love that. That's great. So now you said which one as far as what projects you're working on. You're working on one with, I think it's starring Antonio Banderas.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Tell us about that.
Antonio asked me to write the script for this really cool spiritual Western. And it's kind of like Avatar and Star Wars are combined in the Old West. With a little bit of, it's really cool, and I loved it. I wrote it, and I'm in the final rewrite right now. And it was funny because when I did that, when I first agreed to do it, I had been reprimanded by somebody that I'm kind of friends with from high school, because he told me that the entire cast was racist and a bunch of white supremacists.
Oh boy.
And I'd already been in the group chat with them all. And I said, that doesn't make any sense. Nobody's expressed anything like that whatsoever. And he said, well, if you continue to write this script, you're never going to work in Hollywood again. And I'm like, well, I don't really work in Hollywood. I'm not really big or anything. So it's kind of silly. But I was upset. And by the next morning, I thought to myself, well, if I am prevented from working with people that are really nice, that are really cool to me, that all really like each other and never say anything bad about politics or religion or race or anything, and am I willing to be influenced by what other people say in order to preserve what career? And I thought, you know what, maybe this isn't the business for me, if that's what the parameters are for me to be in it. So I'm going to stick to my heart, and I'm going to write this script, and I'm going to make it as amazing as I can and just go forward. And I'm going to be true to my heart and not what people are telling me. I've never been prey of social rules that don't make logical sense, and it's not going to become that now. So I did it, and it's great, and they love it, and I'm in the final rewrite of it, and I'm pretty thrilled with it. I like it. And I don't want to be in it. They're going to shoot it in Arizona, and I can't.
Not going to be in it. Okay.
No, I don't. I love my animals so much, and I can't imagine being away from them for 6 or 8 weeks. If I could bring them in a trailer or something, sure. But then I'd miss my kids, and they won't come with me right now. And I've got plenty of things going on here, and it's fun to just be a writer. Sometimes, what's wrong with just being a writer, a great writer of something, and especially if it's that
wonderful
spiritual. And I'm not talking religion; I'm talking spiritual.
That's right. Big difference.
Action Western. I would love to become, because that's something I could do till I'm 130, a spiritual, an action writer, a female action writer. How cool would that be? So, whatever.
And not many out there, if any. I mean, I've never really heard of spiritual and Western in the same sentence. So that's exciting in itself.
It's really cool. Right? It's actually really, really cool. Antonio came up with the concept, and then I created it into a script. So it was a complete collaboration, but he knew from a script that I had already written years ago that I had attached him to, but then I didn't have enough money. This is prior to him, which I found out later. I didn't know that he was a big Trump supporter, and this
Scott Baio, that I know too.
In all this controversy. I don't follow controversy. I don't do background checks on people to find out what their political leanings are. I don't care about that. I care about their hearts and how they treat me. And if they like animals, that's the one thing. If you're going to kick my animals, you can't be around me. Other than that, I don't really care.
You're very easy to please, Deb.
I really am. When I was 3 years old at that TV, when I said I want to be in there with those people, I also realized I want to spend the rest of my life just pretending and loving people and being friends. And if people don't want to engage on that level of just simplicity, let's just get along and have fun and be friends.
See that changing though, or getting better right now? I kind of see it getting worse. That, they're drawing the line in the sand, and anyone that supports Trump, we're hated people, and it's a shame, also Scott Baio was in the movie. Am I right about that?
Scott Baio. And
I know also
Kaya Jones. Do you know Kaya Jones? She's so cool.
Yeah.
She's from Pussycat Dolls. We've become really good friends.
I know she was an actress. Oh, that's great.
I didn't either. Anyway, but she's really sweet, and she's also helping produce it. She has acted. She's just really, there's some great people that are part of this, and they're good intentions. And nobody, Kaya Jones she's also African American too, and American Indian. So how racist can she be? Because that would be betraying who she is as a person. She's not. And it's
not logical, right? You know what they're saying isn't logical.
No, I know. But I trust, like I said, I trust my heart and the people as I know them. And until somebody shows me something that makes me decide for myself that they are inappropriate to my life, I'm just open arms. I love you all. Come.
And that goes back to your upbringing again. You don't let people tell you how to live or tell you what to do or, form a narrative for you. You have your own mind, and when someone is pushing their agenda on you, and you can see that. There's some people that can't see that, and they just kind of they go with it, and they allow, they don't want to be an outcast, or, they don't want to be limited because of their beliefs, or, and so they'll go with the flow. And it's hard to go against the flow. It really is, but there are times in our life where we have to stand up for what we believe in and for what's right for us. It's very important. Because today it's one thing that they're not liking, and tomorrow it'll be something else,
Absolutely.
We don't want anybody with blonde hair in the movie. If you're going to associate with anybody with blonde hair, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
It totally does. And it's funny. It is like the whole thing that happened for me growing up, moving so much. I never I never was able to succumb to peer pressure because I was never anywhere long enough that it would matter. I inherently, when you don't know people long enough, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. It just doesn't. So you learn to have your own code. And I created my code. And my code I live by. And I created it when I was probably about 7 or 8. And I have lived by it my entire life. And it's a good one for me. It might not work for everyone, but it's pretty positive. And it's not about any organized religion and actually you'll like this. So when I was at the Alabama Catholic school, it was right around the time
Which math teacher?
Oh. Yeah, with the Jewish math teacher. So it was, I was 12, 13, 7th grade. And we were, and they were in the process of having confirmations. We had to go through the confirmation training. And because of, it was the combination between my Jewish math teacher that I loved and in Alabama, TV at the time, I hope it's improved. Hopefully they have DirecTV or Verizon or something. But so at Easter, they played the 10 Commandments every single day with Charlton Heston. And I watched the 10 Commandments over and over and over and over. And I realized that I'm like the Jews. I'm trying to escape. And I'm trying to escape the oppression of the world that I've lived in. And I was only 13, but I'd already felt oppression from different things. And I identified far more with them and the fact that they were able to communicate directly with God. And I'd been talking to God myself through meditation and everything since I was little. I mean, I had an open path that I would get messages. He'd tell me, give me advice, really good stuff. Dash! Anyway, so when we came to the confirmation and we all had to line up to go and do our monologue thing or whatever it was that we'd memorized. Wait, I have to get Dash.
That's okay, go ahead.
Wow. That's awesome. She had a relationship with him when she was real young.
I guess my daughter got done babysitting. Oh, baby. So anyway.
How cute. Look at that one.
He's so funny.
Oh, you are precious. I have a palm like that just gets excited all the time.
I think it's so
so excited. Very cute.
So I know we had to line up. We lined up and we had to go speak to Father O'Reilly, who was from Ireland, and he was 86 years old, and this ancient priest dude who was very strict. And everyone went and they said their piece, and I went to him and he said to me, tell me, child, whatever the rote thing is they say, like, tell me, child, well, you want to be confirmed into the Catholic Church? And I looked at him and I said, well, I don't. And he was not expecting that. And he said, excuse me? And I said, I don't. I think I might be Jewish. And he just had this look on his face. And I said, I've been talking to God myself since I was 2 years old. And I'm not going to give away my right to talk to God so that a priest can do it for me.
Wow.
And he said, okay, go, my child. I will pray for you. And he stopped the line. Wouldn't see anyone else.
Wow.
And then I went home that night and I told my parents, I said, I don't want to be confirmed because I'm not going to give away my right to talk to God. So yeah, I've been a weirdo. I've been a weirdo for a long time, but I attribute it completely to the fact that I moved a lot. So I was able to step outside of whatever society wanted me to be or school wanted me to be or anything. And I would always be who I am. And I didn't even care what my parents would think when I decided that. I didn't ask them. I didn't have any discussion. And my parents were very, very strict. You would think I would have asked them.
Had a little bit of fear there, right?
But I was the clarity, like no organized religion, not into it, not for me.
You're a free thinker, and that's a good thing.
Yep.
What is it? What is it? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking to Caleb.
I think I need to put my charger on. 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, I got mine.
Well,
I saw my phone telling me a couple of
time
minutes.
is it? I'm gonna air this whole thing. I think the whole thing was exciting.
Yeah.
You don't mind, right? I'm not cutting this up. I like the whole interview. We'll put it out there. Watch it, they watch it. Very good. Very cool.
All right, we got power. We're ready.
All right. Awesome. So now, what's the name of the spiritual Western movie?
Trailblazers. It's called Trailblazers right now.
Trailblazers.
And I think once this next pass is done, the final pass on the script, I think they're going to have a pretty easy time getting the money. They've got a lot of good people that are interested, and Kaya Jones is really amazing, and Nick. What's Nick's last name? There's this guy named Nick who's super cool, this young director, producer guy. He's helping, and then, I mean, it's just a really good bunch of people. It's really good.
How'd you get Scott? Scott Baio.
Yep, Scott Baio. Wait, let me find it. I can get it up.
You know, we come from the same neighborhood. I have a Scott Baio story, so I'm going to tell it real quick. It's a little it's a pathetic little story. I tell it all the time on my show whenever his name comes up. But so a friend of mine, her father owned this restaurant in Brooklyn, and she said, "Do you know tonight Scott Baio is going to be having dinner in my father's restaurant?" And we were like, "Really?" Now we knew he was already Chachi from Happy Days, and he lived on 80th Street and 10th Avenue in the corner house. I lived on 47 and 12th. My friends lived close by. So she said, "Yeah," she said, "He's going to be getting ready to leave his house about 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. So she said, if you guys want to go over there, you could probably see him when he's coming out of his house." We're like 12 years old, 12, maybe 13, right? So we get on our bicycles and we're riding a good 40 blocks, right? And we get to his house and his father is outside. Now his father, I remember, was like livid. He was so mad because all the girls in the neighborhood, they just sold the house. They're moving to California. And the girls in the neighborhood wrote all over his fence, "Mary loves Scott, Scott loves Susie." Like they put graffiti all, and the father was screaming. I remember that. And all of a sudden I see him in the backyard doorway, and he's looks real sharp, and he had like a little tuxedo on. And I looked and I said, "Hi, Scott." And he looked at me and he said, "Hi." And that's my Scott Baio story.
That's so great.
But it's so funny because, yeah, and then he came back to the old neighborhood a few years ago. I think he did like a reality TV show, and he came back to his old neighborhood in Dyker Heights, Brooklyn, back to, by the old house. And yeah. And I always say one day I would love to like interview him one day just to say, I met you when I was 20.
All the people from Trailblazers, I've been telling them, because I've been doing a lot of interviews lately, and they're all into doing this. You should have Antonio. You should have Antonio on.
I would love to.
He's so awesome, and he's so hot.
Don't you think so, Caleb?
But he's also really like a good guy, and he's not.
I would love that.
Yeah, and Kaya Jones is beautiful and so smart. This chick is really, you would love her. Everybody is so awesome.
You can help us reach them. That would be awesome.
I totally will. I tried to get Kaya on. Do you know George Bruno? Oh, you and George Bruno should meet. George Bruno is this really cool guy who's based outside of Philadelphia right now. And he's just got this amazing show. It's all about male empowerment, which is something I actually left George a message today, because this is a whole other tangent. This is probably another show about how I've realized within my own self, with some of the people that I'm working with right now that are very Italian, New York kind of personality men, that I am not equipped with my background and the way society is now to understand what a real man is supposed to be. I've been trained. We have, as women, have been trained away from that. And I don't even know at this point, you know, what I'm used to are guys that are kind of wussy, or guys that have addiction issues or mommy issues or something else. I don't know how to deal with somebody who is actually kind of standing in their power and being their truth, which is and masculine, and reacting with a little bit of testosterone, but not crazy. It's not
a bad boy type, right?
No. It's
those
just
go after the bad boy types, and the bad boy types are the ones that, you know, they drink too much, they cheat, you know.
Right, but
they're appealing until you get into the relationship with them, and then it backfires. Right.
Do you know how there's this other vein that's not one extreme or the other? It's in the middle. But we, as a society of women, don't know how to respond to them. We don't know, and it's very wild. And I with all this time that we have on our hands, I've encountered more of this type of guy, and I'm working with one right now, and it's very fascinating because I find myself very okay and cool, and then all of a sudden I see a little flare of testosterone, and I oh God, no. And then I think to myself, just wait, no, it's okay. That's normal. They don't have to be like a freaking girl.
Right.
It's fine. But anyway, this guy, George Bruno, is all about having men stand in their power. And he's a good friend, so I've been watching his videos because I think they're really valuable, because also they help women come to terms with the fact that, like, men don't have to be, oh, hi, honey.
One extreme or the other. Yeah.
Men don't have to be little wussy bitches. They don't. They can have a voice. They can have an opinion. They can have a man cave. They can be these things. And it's just a really fascinating moment. But George is really cool like that. And it's very interesting. So he'd be a great person for you to talk to.
That. Oh, yeah, we would love that.
And I just really like the guy.
Deborah's going to set us up with a lot of guests.
I think I will.
I can see that. Thank you.
I know some great people, and it's worth it. You got to check out this other guy that I'm working with right now, who is the one that I'm being challenged most with this very traditional male point of view. This guy, Matthew Piazzi. Felix, wait 1 second. No. Hey. Bup. Sorry. Something bad was about to happen. This guy, Matthew.
I would love, before we end, just to get a shot of all the dogs. See them all together.
Yeah, that's a little hard, but.
All right, send me a picture.
Okay, that'll do. Okay. But he's got this great thing, and I started creating this show with him called Man About Town. And this guy's like this crooner, but he also has all this great menswear collection that he is. Oh, here I go, freezing again. Oh geez, what is going on? Get out of there! I've got a dog in a cat box. Get out of there! Don't pee in the cat box. Get out of there! Hey!
Oh my God!
Hey! Come here.
Too funny.
What the heck?
It's like those animal shows, right?
Yeah.
Right? Who's that guy from Australia with the animals?
Spencer.
Oh,
how cute! Yes. Oh my God, how adorable! Oh my God, the viewers must be loving these little guys. How cute!
Isn't he precious?
So sweet, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't
you just want to get one, Caleb?
I know.
Just want a little lap dog, and they follow you everywhere. Whatever room you're in, they're in. They're right behind you. You got to watch them, step on them. They're right under your feet all the time because they just want to be with you.
Best thing. That's why when I came up to the bedroom to do this interview, they all stood by the baby gate at the bottom of the stairs, and they're like, "Mommy, what about me?" And so one by one, I left them over the baby gate. I'm like,